Hello. Wow, it's been almost 2 weeks since I've had the time and motivation to touch this thing. So pick up where I left off. I've got all my track cut to length, and I'm going to head and start gluing it in place. First, I'm going to drill some holes for some feeder wires. I'm just going to mark them right here with my pen. And what I'm also going to be doing is taking this entire piece and soldering it together. So that's what I'm going to be doing as well. I'll take this off. Touch it like that. Let me flip this over, make sure these are butted up tightly against each other. Go ahead and do another one. Let me take my file and file off a little bit of excess there. Scrape that a little bit, clean that up, clean some of that blackening solution off. And where's my piece of, here's a piece of emery paper. Okay. Alright, let's get this in position. Go ahead and wire and solder it to the track here, at least to here, and those other two holes I drilled down there. Go ahead and get the wire soldered in place. I'm going to be putting in the feeder wires, and I use 18 gauge wire. It's a bit heavier, and what I do is after I strip the insulation off, I take, this is actually stranded 18 gauge, and I take maybe about half the strands and cut them off, because that's a little bit too much to try to solder to the track. And so I run this heavier wire so I can run longer feeder wires from the bus, so I don't get a drop in current that way. I get a good clean signal rather than using real thin wire and having to run shorter lengths. It gives me a little bit more flexibility, and it's worked out so far. So I'll probably cut this. Go ahead and cut the insulation off. So I've got all these strands here, too many of them. So I just take about half of them off, leave about 5-6 strands. That's probably enough. Twist them. This is what I solder to the bottom of the rail joiner here. So in this excess here, I just trim that off. And yes, if you've observed, I'm using a rail nipper. It's supposed to be for rail, but this one's shot, but it's good enough for cutting wire. I'll go ahead and trim this down about 1/4 of an inch. Look at that. Pull this down like that, and yeah, I just pulled this down the hole. Pull the wire down. Okay, like that. And I rest this on top, and then I just solder the rail joiner. Solder just the bottom of the rail joiner, just like that. I put the ballast over it, that'll cover it all up. So wire. Here, that's soldered on. And I'll need to push this back up just by pushing up on the wires. I'll need to be able to lift this up high enough to put the caulking underneath. It's like that. So trim these little excess pieces off right here. Pull a dab of black paint to color the rail joiners. In theory, when I put my ties back down, I should put 2 ties on either side. I take some leftover ties from pieces of track I've tossed out and file off the spike detail and slide them underneath, and then when I get the ballast on, kind of hides things pretty well. So these rail joiners. These are pretty worn out. And oh, that's right, I soldered these, I think, a long time ago. Let me take my soldering iron. Here. A little heat to the side of it. Make the solder melt just enough. Here. That did the trick. Keep taking track on and off. If rail joiners start spreading apart, they don't grip the rail quite as tight. I'll start with some fresh joiners. So I'm going to be using my squeeze and caulk and gluing this track in place. I set to bead of squeeze and caulk underneath, and then pull these back down, then put some weights on this and be good to go. got this all weighted and let this dry overnight. Then I'll run a loco through it, just a small section just to test it out. So I think that's it for the night.